Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something pretty intense. The whole philosophy and the practical frameworks behind the 5 a.m. club.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because all the lessons are wrapped up in this story, almost like a fable. It follows an entrepreneur, an artist, and these two mentors, the spellbinder and this um, eccentric billionaire, Mr. Riley.
Right, and our job today is really to pull out that core blueprint they lay out. The
Yeah.
narrative's compelling, but we want the actionable stuff. And the stakes are set right away with the entrepreneur, aren't they?
Absolutely. She's in deep trouble. Her company's facing a hostile takeover. Her life's work is on the line. She goes to this seminar basically looking for a miracle.
That desperation, that crisis point,
Yeah.
that seems key to their whole philosophy.
It is. The idea is that real change, big change, often only happens when staying put becomes more painful than, the fear of moving forward. It's the leverage point.
Okay, so let's get into the Spellbinder's opening message. He really doesn't pull any punches, does he? Warning people not to get stuck in average.
No, he calls it the mass mediocritization of behavior. Strong words.
Yeah.
It's basically saying don't just drift along with the crowd.
And he talks about these internal battles, right?
Right.
Excuses, fears, doubts.
Exactly. He labels them. Excuses are seducers, fears are liars, doubts are thieves. It's all about conquering that inner landscape first. The real enemy isn't out there. It's the story you tell yourself.
But world class. That sounds huge, maybe even intimidating. How do they make that feel achievable?
Well, they draw a line. World class begins where your comfort zone ends. Simple as that, almost.
Simple but hard.
Very hard. They argue that the pull towards comfort, towards complacency, that's the real long-term trap. Short-term pleasure versus, the hard work needed for real lasting possibility. And that requires constant reinvention.
So difficulty isn't a sign to stop, it's actually part of the process.
Precisely. Obstacles are framed as tests. Tests of your commitment, your desire to improve. They even say failure is just growth in wolf's clothing.
I like that. It reframes setbacks completely.
It does. And think about the Stephen King story they include.
Oh, right, about Carrie.
Yeah. He was working tough jobs, getting rejected, and he actually threw the manuscript away, binned it.
Wow. I didn't know that part.
It was his wife, Tabitha, who fished it out, cleaned it up, and basically told him, no, this is good, send it out again. It shows even legends need that push, that persistence.
So for the entrepreneur in the story, her crisis isn't the end.
No, it's the test. It's the proof she needs to dig deeper, not give up. And digging deeper leads us right to Mr. Riley's big idea. Transforming your outer world starts with transforming your inner world, your relationship with yourself.
Okay, that makes sense. Affects everything else, work, money, impact.
And it directly challenges that need for external validation, like the entrepreneur measuring her worth by her company's success or, comparing herself to others online.
Those fake highlight reels, as they put it.
Exactly. Which is why they introduced this model of the 4 interior empires. It's about building yourself up from the inside across 4 key areas: mindset, health set, heart set, and soul set.
All right, let's break these down. This feels pretty central to the whole 5 a.m. thing. First up, mindset.
Mindset is the psychological dimension. Your beliefs, your thinking patterns, your focus on learning. But crucially, they say it's only about 25% of the equation.
Only 25%. That's surprising.
Yeah, knowledge isn't enough on its own. Think of Riley's t-shirt slogan, "Victims have big TVs, leaders own large libraries." It's a bit blunt, maybe.
Huh. Yeah, a little bit confrontational. Is it meant to be taken literally, or is it more about priorities?
I think it's about priorities. It's a wake-up call about how you spend your free time. Are you passively consuming or actively learning and growing? If you want extraordinary results, your choices need to reflect that.
Got it. Okay, next is health set. Seems obvious, but they link it to longevity specifically.
They do. The advice is stark. Do not die. Sounds simple, right?
Yeah, good advice generally.
But the deeper point is about that trade-off people make health for wealth when young, then wishing they could trade wealth for health when they're older. Health set is about playing the long game. You need the physical energy for mastery.
Makes sense. Then we get into heart set. This is the emotional side: compassion, joy, peace. How do you practice joy when your company's under attack?
That's where the work comes in. It's not about pretending to be happy. It's about active emotional regulation, gratitude journaling, meditation, techniques to build emotional resilience and security. The idea is that truly effective leaders uplift others because they're fundamentally okay within themselves. They don't need external props.
So it's about managing the internal weather. Not faking sunshine. What about the last one? Soul set.
Soul set is the spiritual dimension. This is cultivated in quiet solitude, especially early in the morning. It's about reconnecting with your core values, your purpose, finding courage, moving beyond insecurity or scarcity thinking. If heart set is emotional balance, soul set is your anchor, your why.
And these four apply differently to different people, like the artist in the story.
Definitely. For the artist, his struggle was heavily in heart set and soul set. He had the skill, the mindset, maybe some health set, but he was crippled by self-doubt, fear of failure.
Focusing on cash rather than craft.
Exactly. He needed that soul set connection to remember why he started creating in the first place, separate from just making money. Building these empires requires, well, rigor. And Mr. Riley has this really specific, almost strange metaphor for it, deseeding the lemon wedges.
Deseeding lemon wedges. That sounds incredibly meticulous, maybe even a bit much.
It sounds, yeah. But the point is about shifting from being superficial to being granular, paying attention to the tiny details. He uses the Challenger disaster as a stark example.
Oh, wow. Heavy.
Right, caused by a single O-ring seal, 70 cents apparently. It drives home that small lapses in attention, in rigor, can have huge consequences. Mastery demands that level of detail.
It's a powerful, if sobering point, that details matter. The artist gets this, right? He mentions Vermeer.
He does. Vermeer's mastery came from his obsessive focus on light, on technique, the tiny things that separated him from artists just churning out work for money. Granularity, that's the difference maker.
And you can't achieve that granularity without focus. Which brings us to their point about distraction.
Yes, history maker focus, #2, freedom from distraction. Riley calls an addiction to distraction the death of your creative production. He wants that idea burned into your brain like a tattoo.
A brain tattoo. I like that.
What?
And the result of distraction overload.
Broken focus syndrome, people becoming cyber zombies, losing genuine connection, deep thought, just constantly reacting.
And the 5 a.m. routine is designed as the antidote. The peace and quiet helps trigger the flow state.
Exactly. Through something the book calls transient hypofrontality.
Okay, whoa. Transient hypofrontality. Can you break that down? Why 5 a.m. for that?
Sure. Basically, it means temporarily quieting down the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that handles logic, planning, but also self-criticism and doubt.
The inner critic.
Right. By dialing that down, you allow other parts of the brain, the more creative, intuitive parts, to come online more strongly. You get into that flow. Transient just means it's temporary.
Okay, so quiet the analytical part to boost the creative part. Makes sense.
And doing it early at 5 a.m. also helps manage cortisol. That's the stress hormone.
It's highest in the morning, right?
Typically, yes. And high cortisol activates our primal fear responses, that negativity bias. Starting the day with the 5 a.m. routine helps counteract that, managing the fear response before it dominates your thinking.
So we've got the 4 inner empires, the science of focus and early starts. How did Riley and the Spellbinder actually package this into a daily practical routine?
That's the victory hour, 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. The claim is pretty bold. Get more done by noon than most people do all week. It's a structured hour, tackling those empires.
And the entrepreneur uses the 20-20-20 formula. Let's walk through that sequence again, because the order seems important.
The order is crucial. It's designed to manage that cortisol and prime the brain. First, 5:00 to 5:20 a.m. is move.
Intense exercise, right? Wind sprints, weights.
Yep, high intensity. That's health set. It burns off cortisol, releases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is like fertilizer for the brain, preparing it for learning.
Okay, step 1, sweat. Then what?
5:20 to 5:40 a.m. is reflect. Journaling, meditation, gratitude lists. This targets heart set and soul set. Calming the mind, connecting to purpose after the physical exertion has cleared the way.
So calm after the storm, sort of. And the final 20 minutes.
5:40 to 6:00 a.m. is grow. This is dedicated learning, audiobooks, reading about your field, deliberate practice. That's mindset, taking advantage of the brain being optimized by the first 2 segments.
It's very systematic. But getting up at 5 a.m. for wind sprints every single day, that takes serious willpower. What about real life? Kids, jobs, things that get in the way.
That's a fair point. The book tackles willpower by saying it isn't something you just have, it's something you build. Like a muscle.
Through practice.
Relentless practice. Constant drilling of the habits until they become automatic, requiring less conscious effort. The goal is automation.
They use the London taxi driver's example, don't they?
Exactly. Learning the knowledge that incredibly complex map of London streets physically changed their brains. Their hippocampus, the part involved in spatial memory, actually grew larger.
Wow. So the brain adapts to the demands placed on it.
It does. You earn the brain you want through consistent effort. But, and this is a huge but relentless effort without rest, leads to burnout. Even the Hellbinder crashed.
Right. So renewal is just as important as the rigor.
Absolutely critical. Riley's rule. Elite production without quiet vacation causes lasting depletion. You must balance the intensity with proper recovery.
Which is why the billionaire character takes, what, 3 months off every summer?
June, July, August,
Right.
every year, and mandates 0 device days, 2 full days a week, completely unplugged. Rest isn't laziness, it's essential maintenance for peak performance. #tag outro.
So wrapping this up, the 5 a.m. Club isn't just about waking up early. It's a whole system for building internal strength, those 4 empires, through disciplined early morning routines.
Right. Mindset, health set, heart set, soul set. Developed in that victory hour. And the reason mastery is rare, they argue, is because few people commit to this level of internal work and, frankly, rigor.
And underpinning it all is this intense sense of urgency, isn't there? The idea that time is limited.
Definitely. It's driven home by those real-life stories. They mentioned Eugene O'Kelly writing his book after a terminal diagnosis, Jean-Dominique Bobby writing The Diving Bell and the Butterfly by blinking his eyelid.
Such powerful examples. Makes you realize.
Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Tomorrow is a bonus, not a right, as the book says.
Which leads us to that final thought, the quote from Warren Zevon that the artist shares.
Enjoy every sandwich.
Yeah, simple, profound. It leaves you, the listener, with a question. Not should you pursue your potential. The book implies that unused potential causes its own kind of pain, but knowing the blueprint, knowing time is precious, what are you waiting for?
The time to start building that inner world, that mastery, is right now.